We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast. This is Abe, your host. I usually like to start out the podcast with an update. Today is my birthday. I'm turning 29 years old. 30's right around the bend. Fun. Me and Sammy went to Mothman Museum and all that jazz for my birthday. There's a video out. It's just photos and stuff. I wanted to be in the moment to enjoy it. So we didn't really have any recording, but we put out a little collage of videos and stuff if you guys want to see what's inside Mothman Museum, Point Pleasant. But yeah, I've just been working my butt off. I might work today. I'm not sure if I will or will not. It is my day off, but I might go in for the overtime, so that'd be cool. And then Thursday is Thanksgiving, and I get paid double time for holiday pay. So I don't know. I might work tomorrow just to have a big fat check, because me and Sammy's wedding anniversary is coming up December 1st. So if you all are listening to this, I would like to say Happy Thanksgiving. And did y'all see Donald Trump pardoned 2 turkeys today? Corn is the one he pardoned. And then he pardoned another one, Cobb, because he couldn't pardon just corn without the cob. So I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know if any other presidents pardoned 2 turkeys, but hey, he might have been the first one to pardon 2 turkeys, so that's good in my book, you know. Better than old sniffy, creepy hands Biden. But we got some breaking news. Breaking news. In Utah, there has been a monolith that appeared. It's like this big stone monolith, or not stone, I guess it's metal, honestly. Here's my theories on it. It just popped up. Here's the story. These, I guess, like, they're not like sheep, well, wild sheep, like mountain sheep, mountain goats. Basically, there's these helicopters that fly around and like count mountain goats is their job. Which sounds ridiculous, but that's kind of cool, I guess, you know. What do you do for a living? Oh, I fly a helicopter and count goats. And this random crazy like metallic monolith popped up in Utah. And it looks literally like the monolith on 2001 Space Odyssey, where the monkeys freak out when they run across that monolith. I wish I was technologically savvy so I could show you that clip of the scene, but you could find it on YouTube in 2 seconds, especially with this type of breaking news. A lot of people are saying it's aliens. Yeah, that would be dope if it's aliens, but all the conspiracy channels are talking right now that with 2020 as crazy as this year is going, that they're talking about launching Bluebeam. So, yeah. I mean, I believe in aliens. I believe in UFO because I've seen UFO, but with how crazy this year is, I think the grand finale they're trying to pull off might possibly be Bluebeam. I'm not fear-mongering, it's just speculation. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to pull off Bluebeam. But I was telling my brother about it, and I know it sounds crazy, but it could be honestly Mormons, man. Like Mormons run Utah, dude. So like, what if it's some crazy like monument that the Mormons built, kind of like Georgia Guidestones, but Mormon version? Because they're known to like literally trace every single American's like back history, kind of like Ancestry.com, and they have them in bunkers and stuff. Like they probably have our whole entire heritage on file in bunkers in Utah, and we don't even know our own heritage. That's how crazy the Mormons are. And I love Mormons, by the way. I'm not speaking ill of the Mormons, but that's like one of their little missions is they gain heritage info on like every living person in the US, which I don't think a lot of people know. I used to live next door for a Mormon for like 2 or 3 years, so I actually got to learn a lot. That, and I used to hang out with them. They'd knock on my door and I'd invite them inside and I'd just talk to them for like 2 hours and shit like that, like learning, you know. But yeah, that's my theory. It could be a Mormon like monument, or it could be extraterrestrial, or it could be the elite, the Illuminati, if you want to use that word. I use that word very loosely just because for some reason that's the only word that people understand. As soon as you get into like weirder stuff like 322 or Skull and Bones, Bavarian Illuminati or Blue Lodge, whatever. Like people start getting lost. So I just like Illuminati. You understand that? There you go. They're like, yeah, Illuminati. Okay, let's just call them the Illuminati or the lizard people, whatever the fuck you want to call them. You're getting lost. It could be kind of like another Guidestone, maybe. I don't know. But that's the breaking news for today. But today we are going to be covering a cult of the god of wine. It is called the Dionysian Mysteries. The Dionysian Mysteries are still some of the most enigmatic rituals from the ancient world, and scholars continue to debate their practices. Though much is uncertain. What we do know is that they offered a rare opportunity for women to flout convention and surrender themselves to religious ecstasy and sensuous pleasure, free from social conventions. So yeah, warning, get your kids out of the room. I've warned you guys a billion times on this channel. This is not a kid-friendly channel. So yeah, this is kind of like a sex cult. Which cracks me up because how many cults are not sex cults? I've always found it weird. I've hung out with like very like spiritual people who like I've just met and stuff, and you know, they'd be talking spirituality with me and like, like, hey, can I get my wife to like take her into the next room and all this? Like, I've been in some weird situations to where I felt like, oh, you guys are like trying to fuck my wife. Oh, okay. And you're trying to bring spirituality into it. Hang on a second. I'm gonna go next door to my house and then I'm gonna come back with a butcher knife. Like, yeah, I'm not into that shit. I don't share, bruh. But I don't know, man. That's how guys are getting into girls' panties now, is playing the whole Jesus spirituality thing, and I think it's fucked up because people are genuinely trying to do spirituality, like kind of like me. I'm trying to get into spirituality, like meditation and good spirituality, like pure white light spirituality, healing and shit. And it's like, I really don't want to get into it and then someone try to fuck my wife. So sadly, you gotta find people that you trust and people that you know, because you can get drug into some weird fucking cult. But sorry for that little rant. In ancient Greece, Dionysus was the god of wine, fertility, and theater. These attributes made him a symbol of hedonistic pleasure, which may explain his great appeal to Greeks in all layers of society. Venerated as Bacchus in imperial Rome, Dionysus was usually depicted as a handsome, nude man with a bunch of grapes or a fennel staff. The earliest Dionysian ceremonies took place in theater, led by a chorus. Indeed, these religious ceremonies would ultimately produce stage drama and the birth of our modern theater. As the patron god of grapes, that must be crushed to produce a new substance in the form of wine, Dionysus also became associated with the cycle of life, from birth to death, and passage to the afterlife. But because wine induces intoxication, the worship of Dionysus also gained an important spiritual dimension. Ancient Greeks believed that to be inebriated meant to be possessed by the god's spirit. This may be the reason why the earliest religious performances staged in dramatic form in theaters were dedicated to Dionysus. In time, however, the spiritual connotation of the Dionysian cult was superseded by a greater emphasis on the hedonistic pleasure of being liberated by the constraints and duties of social life. This led to the rise of the Dionysian procession, in which an effigy of the god, or someone impersonating him, was followed by a wild and unruly group of inebriated women known as Maenads. Maenads, Maenads, accompanied by lustful satyrs, which is a dancing goat. I've made an episode on that before, so get into that. Pan. I'll try to leave a link. I mean, they only give me so many options for you guys to click on videos during the credits, but no one makes it that far, it seems. All whipped into a frenzy by drums and flutes. Let me go back here, though. The birth of modern theater. Dionysian performances produced modern theater. Originally, Greek religious plays were performed by a chorus of some 50 actors singing verses in unison. Around 530 BCE, an actor named Thespis decided to expand the chorus by performing in the role of the principal character. The playwrights Aeschylus and Sophocles added a second and third character respectively. As a result, the chorus was moved to the background, and the idea of a plot or tragedy emerged, performed by different protagonists. Sorry, I digress. The procession became a key part of the Dionysian mysteries, an ecstatic cult that allowed its adherents to become thoroughly intoxicated before surrendering themselves to dance, play, and romantic tryst. Dionysian cult statues, which have been found all over the ancient world, gained new attributes in the process. A crown of ivy, believed to counteract the effects of hangovers, pine cones, used to preserve wine, and bull horns, which were sometimes used as wine cups. Some statues and frescoes also featured goats, whose skin was used to create wineskins, which I'm going to put a link to a video in which I get into making a Bacchus crown or a Dionysus crown, the occult item, how to use it, what it does. This is me back in the day when I was a wickeder man, so bear with me, my hair is shorter. I was younger and I was wilder. So I will leave a link though in the credits, and you can click on that video. Not a link, but an actual image, and you can just click on it, and I made a Bacchus crown back in the day. The cult was particularly popular among those living on the margins of society, or with little opportunity for sybaritic exploits, married women, for example, but also slaves and non-citizens. Amid the revelry, all of those rigid class distinctions melted away. This may be the reason why several Greek city-states tried to suppress the mysteries with little success. But the cult had a deeper function as well. Like the Osirian mysteries, it never abandoned its roots as a celebration of the cycle of life and the possibility of rebirth in another world. So now we get into who is Dionysus, however you prefer to pronounce it. Bacchus. Who is it? It's the god of wine. But this is where it gets into, it's Jesus Christ. And you'll see small fragments of Jesus Christ and Dionysus, how they tied together within Jesus turned water to wine. Jesus drank wine with prostitutes and thieves at bars at late at night. Read your Bible, and you'll hear these stories of where Dionysius leaks into Jesus. And by the way, they were both born on December 25th. I'm not even going to get into it. Y'all need to watch Zeitgeist if you're not woke enough to watch that. It's on Netflix now, by the way. It got accepted by Netflix from YouTube, so that will give you that'll give you a primer. And then I have some excellent books which I can give to you. Like, I've given you the knowledge throughout my channel for the past 3 years. I mean, I'll try to link as many videos as I can at the end, but you're going to have to dig deep into this channel. I've been doing this channel for, I say 3, but it's probably going on 4 years now. So I have a shit ton of knowledge that I can give to you. This channel started out with book reviews, back when I had short hair. So that tells you how long I've been doing this channel. I'll link as much shit as I can for you to click on at the end so you can kind of delve deeper into this subject, but I'm not going to repeat myself. I'm too old for that. But let's get into who Dionysus is. First off, little side note. The followers of Dionysus, or Bacchus, aka, are Bacchantes, worshippers of Dionysus, Bacchus, son of wine and bestower of ecstasy. Ivy-crowned and joyous, these women danced in the moonlight, abandoning themselves to adoration of their radiant young lord. A stud. A stud. Getting sexy up in here. It's getting hot. Dionysus, god of the vine, master of revels, bestower of ecstasy. This untamed, ivy-crowned youth was perhaps the most important of the nature gods, and his legends abound. It is agreed that Zeus is his father. There we get into Jesus, Dionysus, and Zeus being Jehovah. This is not a new tale. But different stories give him different mothers. Demeter, queen of harvest, is one's, and she got kidnapped by Hades, which that's a whole nother story. We can get into that. I can make a whole nother episode on that because I love Greek mythology, man. I love Greek mythology, Sumerian mythology, the Bible. Honestly, this kind of brings me back to when I was a child. My mom gave me a Greek mythology book and told me to hide it from my dad. And it was made by Disney, but it kind of blew my mind. Like, I transcribed the whole book into this leather-bound, gold-paged diary that I bought. I was a big fan of the Never-Ending Story, and my mom was like, hey, you can spend like $10. And I found this like leather-bound, it looked like a Bible, but all the pages were empty, and I was like, I want this. And I started transcribing like this Greek mythology book that we had on our shelf that I had never looked at, and I was like, oh wow, that's so cool. The stories are kind of like Never-Ending Story. They're like mythological, and there's swordplay and wizardry and magic and spells and gods. And she noticed I was transcribing this entire book, and I transcribed the entire book like a monk, you know. I literally transcribed the entire book handwritten. I wish I still had it because it was fucking epic. It was like, I don't know, like all the old Greek myths, like from the creation of the world till like the end, the apocalypse. Like it was like a Greek Bible, dude, transcribed within like a little boy's English. And I wrote the entire thing in cursive too, which is insane because I don't think a lot of people, I was like 10 years old, and I don't think a lot of people now even know how to write in cursive. So I wish I still had it. It was awesome. But sorry, I digress. I got excited thinking about my past, reminiscing. The nymph Lethe, whose name means forgetfulness, is another. But in the tale most widely told, Semele is his mother. She was the Phrygian princess, priestess of the new moon, whom Zeus courted invisibly as the night wind. Unfortunately, however, she suspected that he was other than he seemed, and coaxed him into dropping his disguise. Yeah, Zeus was real rapey. He used to like disguise himself as a swan, and I don't know. He's a real rapey god. A lot like Jehovah. Just saying. Unfortunately, however, she suspected that he was other than he seemed, and coaxed him into dropping his disguise. He appeared to her in his own form. She was consumed by the divine fire upon which no mortal can look and live. Sounds like the Holy Spirit, honestly. Divine fire. Dying, she gave birth to Dionysius. So this is like Virgin Mary birth, but like epically more wicked. Well, I mean, Dionysus is Jesus, so it's the same story as Jesus. Oh, sorry, Zeitgeist. Yeah. Horus, Buddha, it's all Jesus. Sorry, I had to get that out of my system. Okay, so Dionysus was born among fire. You'll hear that a lot from Southern preachers' mouths. be reborn amongst fire. Okay. Ever afterward, flame ran in his veins, giving him his matchless radiance. Sound like he became a sun god. Zeus wished to keep the infant hidden from the vengeful Hera, and gave him to the mountain of nymphs to raise. By the way, Jehovah did have a wife, and we're going to do an episode on that one day. So Hera would be the wife of Jehovah, which he divorced eventually, and Jesus is like, "Where's my mom?" By the way, they actually forgot to take this shit out of the King James Bible. I'm going to put an episode out on it. It's crazy. They forgot to take Lilith out of the Bible, too. When half grown, the young god fell under the tutelage of Silenus, a shaggy, pot-bellied, little woodland deity, said to be the son of Pan, very mischievous and very wise. It was he who taught Dionysus the secret of the grape, and the terrible enchantment cast by its fermented juice. Accompanied by Silenus, he wandered far, visiting all of the kingdoms that bordered the inner sea, introducing men to vine culture. He was followed by a troop of dancing drunken worshippers. Among them the sons of Silenus, the Sileni, or satyrs, and the hordes of wild women called Maenads, who reveled nightly under the moon. Once he was captured by pirates who took him on board their sinking ship. On board their ship. Sorry, it wasn't sinking. Thinking, not sinking, he was a prince they could hold for ransom. Suddenly the ship stopped. Although it was sailing before the wind in deep water, the amazed pirates saw vines sprouting out of the ocean, climbing the hull, twining around the mast and the oars of the galley. Slaves turned into sea serpents, who wrenched themselves free and swam away. When Dionysus had been setting in the bow, a lion stood. The wind in the rigging became the sounds of flutes, and the beautiful golden lion raised himself on his hind legs and danced. The terrified pirates jumped overboard and were turned into dolphins. It is told that Dionysius descended into Tartarus to rescue his mother, Semele. This was Hades' kingdom, the land beyond death, from which there is no return. But Dionysus brought a bouquet of flowers for Persephone. That's right, Persephone. Yep, she got kidnapped by Hades. I can get into that story another day if you guys so wish. That was so beautiful, and whose fragrance was so intoxicating, she could not refuse anything he asked. She permitted Semele to follow her son back to the land of the living. Dionysus then climbed Olympus and persuaded Zeus to make Semele a goddess. She became one of the moon deities. Zeus was so taken. Yeah, I need to talk to my wife, Semele. She became a moon goddess. Sorry, my wife is a moon worshiper and I'm a sun worshiper. Solomon, soul, O, moon. Yeah, I think that's why we're the perfect match, man. Yin and yang. That's why we're best friends, man. Zeus was so taken with his gorgeous son that he wished to enroll him among the pantheon, which could not number more than 12. 12, the 13th being the sun, 13th planet or whatever, and then the 12 following Jesus and the 12 apostles. You'll notice this. King Arthur and his round table of 12. It's all solar system astrology, man. It all goes back to astrology. I'm sorry to burst y'all's bubble. I know I'm going to piss off a lot of Christians, and I don't give a fuck. But it all goes back to the stars and the planets and the moons. And get over y'all's self. Mythology, man. I mean, And I'm an ancient astronaut theorist. I believe a lot of these people are aliens, but they follow the same rules, or Nephilim, or demons, or jinn, or we can go deep, homeboy. We can keep going deep as deep as you want, but don't get mad at me when I start spouting the truth, man. I read from all text. I'm about to buy a Quran, and I'm gonna start reading Quran on here. I'm going to start reading Quran. I've been reading the Bible. I've been reading Greek mythology. I've been reading Sumerian mythology. I will read it all. Egyptology. I'll read all of it, and we're going to fit all the puzzle pieces together as one. Okay? I'm going to preach, but I'm going to preach it all. I want to hear all sides of the story. I'm not just going to pick one and go, everything else is a lie. No, we're going to read all sides of the story. You hear me? Alright, sorry. That was the preacher coming out. He was given a seat at the right hand of Zeus, and was honored among the gods. Nevertheless, he frequently descended from Olympus because of his love for mankind. And the festivals in his honor were so numerous and so joyous that the other gods often disguised themselves as mortals to join in the frolic. The grape, the ivy, the rose were sacred to Dionysus. Also panther, goat, and dolphin. One of his names is Lysios, the Luciner, because his gift of wine unshackles men from their daily round. But it, taken in excess, foolishly loosens their tongues. Dionysus is loved beyond the other gods because he has taught men to escape the narrow bounds of their own personalities and yield to the ecstasy of natural forces, an ecstasy that permits them to know the gods and their deepest mystery. Welcome to the cult of Dionysus.
We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.